Ariana Biermann gives an update on her dad, Kroy Beermann. Although she admits it's been very difficult to discuss her family issues on camera, Ariana Biermann insists her parents have been fully supportive of her transparency. The 23-year-old Georgia native addressed the topic during the June 2 premiere party for Next Gen NYC, a new docuseries about a group of young friends juggling careers, romance, and family life. In episode 1, June 3, Ariana opened up about her financial situation, claiming her mom, Kim Zolciak, and dad, Kroy Biermann, took all the money she made from sponsored content deals. "I started posting on Instagram. I got my first brand deal when I was 14, Ariana said in a confessional. I was doing like 3 posts a week. You can get paid astronomical amounts to do a story or to do an Instagram post, and I made quite a bit of money. Unfortunately, my parents took my money. I can't say exactly what they used it on, because I just found out that it was gone 2 years ago." What does Kroy Beermann think of Ariana Biermann's Next Gen NYC gig? The headline-making revelation, of course, shocked many viewers, but what did Kroy think of his daughter's candid comments? "He hasn't said anything about it since it came out or anything," Ariana told Briefing on Bravo. "But you have to sign a release for these things in order to talk about things, and he was willing to do that for me and was okay with me sharing my story and the things that have gone on over the last couple of years, and he's been supportive in that." Kim Zolciak celebrates Ariana Biermann's latest career move. Kim, who is in the midst of a divorce from Kroy, has also been quite supportive of her daughter's career milestone. The Real Housewives of Atlanta and Don't Be Tardy alum took to Instagram on Tuesday, June 3, to congratulate Ariana and her boyfriend, Hudson McLeroy, on the Next Gen NYC premiere. "I could not be more proud of Ariana and Hudson for the season premiere of Next Gen NYC," Kim captioned the post, which featured red carpet photos from the series premiere party. "Talk about full circle. I started filming for Bravo in 2008, and now 17 years later to see my baby girl, who was 5 when started she filming on RJOA, on the same network. It's pretty surreal." Kim went on to thank Bravo for always believing in her family and expressed excitement for Ariana and Hudson's new chapter. "I love that you were able to share this with Hudson and that you two of you were able to embark on this new adventure together," she continued. "I love you both so very much and I can't wait to watch." Ariana returned the kind words in the comments section, saying she felt so blessed to have Kim as a mom. "I love you beyond words," the influencer wrote. "Thank you so much for paving the way for me." Ariana Biermann clarifies her comments on her family's finances. Days after the new Gen NYC premiere, Ariana set the record straight about her and Kim's money situation. In episode 1, Ariana claimed her mom would regularly solicit money for general home and family expenses. The Atlanta daughter suggested she would always grant Kim's requests, which led to a misconception about her own financial status. "I think people have a different idea of my money situation and think that I'm balling," she told Briefing on Bravo. "I'm like, no, definitely not the case." Ariana also clarified that any money she sent to Kim would eventually be returned, as her mom is very good at paying her back. She said her mom was getting paid for multiple small screen jobs, but those checks typically took a while to come through. "She's done a few shows, which is amazing, and so they take a second to get paid out for everything," Ariana explained. "My mom always pays me back though, but it's definitely gotten better. She's working really hard." Ariana Biermann reveals where she stands with her parents. Ariana expanded on the money situation in a June 5 Instagram video, reiterating that Kim and Kroy did take her money between the ages of 14 and 20. However, she emphasized there was no bad blood between her and her parents. "In no way, shape, or form was this me trying to bash my parents in any way," she said. "I wouldn't be here without them. I hold absolutely no anger or hatred in my heart. I'm just not capable of that. They say that money is the root of all evil, and I do believe that, at times, I have watched money destroy relationships, and I will never be in that position. I will never allow that to be my life. Ariana Biermann, telling her truth, healing her heart. The lights dimmed as the credits rolled on the Next Gen NYC premiere party, but for Ariana Biermann, a different spotlight had just begun to shine. One that cast illumination not only on her emerging career, but also on shadows from her past. Standing amid the buzz of the June 2 Bravo red carpet event, Ariana wore her signature confidence like an armor. Her platinum blonde waves were styled to perfection, her dress sparkled under the camera flashes, and beside her, her boyfriend Hudson McLeroy beamed with pride. Yet beneath the surface, she felt the weight of a story years in the making, ready to surface. Inside the event, friends, producers, and influencers celebrated the series' launch, laughing over cocktails and exchanging predictions about which storyline would hit hardest. Unbeknownst to many, Ariana's quiet revelation in episode 1, that her parents, Zolciak and Kroy Biermann, had taken the money she earned from Instagram brand deals, would become the first shockwave of the season. I knew I had to tell the truth, Ariana said, standing near the velvet ropes in a private moment, speaking to a briefing on Bravo reporter, even if it wasn't easy. The glitter of beginnings. At 14, Ariana had already been a public figure for nearly a decade, growing up on screen as part of the Real Housewives of Atlanta and later Don't Be Tardy. Her mother, Kim, was a larger-than-life personality, fierce, funny, and never far from a camera. Her stepfather, Kroy Beermann, had been a stabilizing figure in the early years, a former NFL linebacker turned full-time dad, deeply devoted to his family. By the time Ariana posted her first brand-sponsored Instagram story, her life looked picture-perfect. She smiled in designer outfits, unboxed PR packages, and curated a feed that masked the tension simmering just off camera. Back then, I didn't think to ask where the money was going, she reflected in Next Gen NYC Episode 1. I was a kid. I trusted my parents. Behind the scenes, as the family lifestyle soared, new houses, luxury cars, lavish vacations, the financial scaffolding began to crack. Ariana's earnings were absorbed into a system she didn't fully understand, and by the time she was old enough to ask questions, the answers were too complicated to untangle easily. The silence between words. The day after the premiere, Ariana sat in her small, sunlit New York apartment, replaying the episode with Hudson curled beside her. She had expected backlash, maybe denial, but instead, the silence from her father was deafening. He hasn't said anything about it, she told Briefing on Bravo. But he signed the release. He knew what I was going to talk about, and he let me. It was, in its own way, a gesture of support. Kroy, stoic, protective, and not one for public displays, had agreed to let her speak her truth. In an era where celebrity families often tore each other apart for headlines, his quiet compliance felt like a rare form of grace. Still, Ariana couldn't shake the complexity of her emotions. I don't hate him. I could never hate him. But I wish things had been different. Kim, chaos, and complicated love. If Kroy remained quiet, Kim was anything but. Within hours of the premiere, Kim had posted photos of Ariana and Hudson at the event, gushing about how proud she was. She recalled her own journey with Bravo, how Ariana had been just 5 years old when Roy Getaway began. Talk about full circle, she wrote on Instagram. I started filming for Bravo in 2008, and now, 17 years later, to see my baby girl, it's pretty surreal. In the comments, Ariana responded with unfiltered warmth. So blessed to have you as a mom, she wrote. But in private, she struggled with the emotional whiplash of love and loss. She always pays me back, Ariana clarified in a later interview, referring to the money she had sent her mother during financially tight times. She's not trying to screw me over, She just needed help. It was the kind of emotional calculus few outside the family could understand. To Ariana, her mother was both a best friend and a source of heartbreak. She remembered phone calls at odd hours asking for help with bills, the Venmo transfers, the unspoken expectation that Ariana's success would keep the family afloat. "She's working really hard," Ariana said. "She's done a few shows recently. It takes time to get paid, but she always comes through." When the cameras stopped rolling, on June 5, Ariana uploaded a video to Instagram raw and unedited. No glam squad, no filters. Just her, sitting cross-legged on the floor, explaining her side again. "They took my money," she said. "Yes, but I'm not here to attack them." She leaned forward slightly, her voice steady despite the trembling in her fingers. "I hold no hatred in my heart. I truly don't. But I do believe that money can ruin relationships if you let it." For fans used to the over-the-top antics of Don't Be Tardy, this version of Ariana, calm, introspective, and grounded, was a revelation. She wasn't blaming anyone. She was simply telling her story. And it resonated. Comments poured in from fans who had grown up watching her, many sharing their own stories of financial exploitation or family betrayal. Ariana responded to as many as she could, thanking them for listening.